Hopeson for GC News. Meba Obibia Akwaba. I had the latest hot and qua Aramede Bremo. And so you subscribe to channel idea, Bomodia say over subscribe. The way I say over click the subscribe button. Now barely notification. We had a video for free be upload when the first person was a becana a video. A fee we are now like video. Give us a thumbs up. Now fee share of Fufroso. Now when you be here now and someone also a Ghana memoir. Afi yembura ye semwa betoye pono so yenti eye nkomo ya ekosi momenti sa reporti momenti
Monday me court sa of February say persecution MPP for the me firm Monday ye court
I see
omoje docket for advice from Attorney General.
Okay,
advice na madam no mudia kwetena fi every bia ye court wo ho eti I know say abayi emfana ni enfem na yehu sene esibeko na se abayi yehu adwuma ebeye albatross on the neck of MPP forever and ever. IGP me say one more national council be collate around 1. Okay, no wache third vice chairman ne car saka no so Akufo Addo personal card or the chair chairman no.
Oh, I see.
What chicken is what be to so be friend na wonfa and of Fred, or my Captain Coda Fred, no father, no friend, and no picky. Is that you? Oh, what in now? My guy said, hey, but this time was here. There, Obiache Ghana Police Service computers been or Kwaku inspector. Was say, what? Are you telling me you don't have a shadow officer? How do better Kwaku just say one gaza? Is that how you are running the service? Was okay, by the way, let's leave it there. No catch inside the car, won't receive immediately. Besana Jono. Officer na Wawa Airport Police Station no ye in charge of that case. Chese obedru honum ansa wo hu se 19 na hye no. Me na make a pressure. Me say, I lady o. Oh, lady. Me so obedru ho ansa wo na say wo hye 19. Adetine ese say you kozo.
I see.
Among Ghana Police Service, look, you who say police service, but BBC we are doomed
because
we are doomed.
Yeah,
what is the relationship? Yeah, all regional commands, this guys are district commands. Nebisa, what can be any other? Look. I can say the Yatwa Banawi. Police officers are or Mokachre me said Dampare to umber Twaba Mandisino. You have no idea. But I make a show.
Interesting.
Police officer wouldn't pass away there. The PPI, MPP, no afro home say, you call Twama Mahama. The best about the call Radoff, yeah, they call Mahama. Police officers, oh.
I see. But you see, Obuasi the na president calling for investigations, assets down. We don't even know members or more part of the investigative team. No. I don't know if
Adia Misra or Ghana penny for who say, I see ya or Mampenia or Waku could draw. Oh, because I won't find Soho, they ain't the baby mine. I'm telling you, for time. Honorable, obey Deputy Minister of Interior. Radianim and Krabia, Honorable and Krabia, a far that. Obey Deputy Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Jericho for time. There now Kufo swearing in any red, gold, green, I dare share in some. Ye interview na some kind say, Obechi NDCDC is in Egum. Because we know Abokrono. Bisan Krabia father to say, when we know Abokrono, was it tra keke? And I said, you're real, send Crofabokrono. Okay, send them Crofabokrono and pa. Our role is a time, Mimua, obey Deputy Minister of Local Government and Rural Development. No, and it's went to be a chini pabacope. Or Sonny Susa Bedu to say Bible. Abraham bisa above for say to nipa 5 I say kuro or say the baby say no or sonne so bedroom number 5 no krabie father te went me a mo bi adi besin there MPP are led by Akufo et me for DCB and Kojo. Meanwhile all the Auditor General's report that came out indicated that and Akufo this is no ewie sika abokro but when we dey here a good time I ever chi nipa na tumpe ne ye de ntro abewura ase ne ya catch us say oh oman ne ye we asomdwe dada ma mu adi no woni nko ma mu adi no woni nko de aka no ene ye mo ho bai enti say ade ye 300 na aboa de 299 aka one no ye say ye mo one pe no ho bai ni je 299 ni nyina ngu ni ye bube atoso ni ye de ntro akanta so say oh be ye 1874 bibi sasi me na ye say na papa ye kodu say na du sambre no de me ye nyina ne say ye ni say eti enye he nipa na ye mfomso de konsuo de boy hina eti so bi wi aban sika entronti yo konsuo and oboy hina oh de onyama hwehwam de no ompepa ne nsakwa eti so bi wi aban sika we wi aban sika but eyade a ehwam eti onyam no je na bi be kɔ ne nsa ho enti yenja no entro and you say na bedu Professor John Evans Fifi Atamils so hey ebedu John wu sane yes u ka che say yes mpaboa ahoma esesem kura wontimi nsane John subodi John 3:16 on one troye said Nyankopon si do wi asini so ade ne ba wo no kromai everybody knew her yete minim me kada ye won krofo Kufu Abamu a wo bo krono pacha Professor Kasim Kazanga one yes man so onko kra mangudua mra mangudua na ma sika no so ama mewa I told you about Haruna Seku or say kickback no eba wow na buy my contract say am fanya kwan na ukrom kwan ne ye if you say contractor na kotua kickback Professor Mills Bediatuo Ghana for yen troni yesu ne ye banti na penifo ache Professor Mills atena se kewo okwache won wageden eden na wokoye oman ne yete ase egya wonko a na obeye Ghana ye we are father for all. Yeah, the father for all, father for all, father for all, father for all, father for all. Professor Mills, sika bebrebe yira ye Kufuor time na corruption was so. I'm telling you today. There were ministers, they MPs, any DCs, they government appointees, a bomb mine chrono. Eti Kufuor yamo sheno. I'm a kwate Office of Accountability was Accountability Office. Mukai. Kufuor de yamo sheno. See, hey, Kufuor ye but otuabano to be anye. Office of Accountability document 7 pen abaho bibia mabio. I'm telling you today. Meanwhile, at that time, not the former Director General Emma Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, your friend Ben Bibi. Not the kitchen cabinets as of J. Kufuor's time, there are 700,000 Ghana cedis. Men are make catch it off. Make catch it off. I would declassify certain information. Right? There was a day Kufuor came home and wept like a baby. What's that, me papa nani? What's that, the new city? No, the near soja. But so to the na party that's home. What do they na party that's home? Adia misra wo Ghana mpanifo no ho say ase nya omampania owaku kudro obeka sa monfan so ho na yenye de bebo oman no.
It's obvious, yes, that's what Domlevo popularly says when you fight corruption yes, and we will see from our history how cases go to court and they take so long, right? Because people are very powerful, they can fight and all that. So it's true that a lot of these guys are not going to just lie down and be defeated easily, right? But it's also true that, especially for those properties that they've not succeeded in totally, so let's say the capture, those that they've not succeeded in taking away, they will also not get them. So let's say, for instance, the agric mechanization land, what we've shown. Okay, where are they going to pass to come and build? No, if they are challenging it, so they won't get access to it. They are not going to build.
But what about those that have been taken away already?
So those that have been taken away, a different kettle of fish. So when ORA gets to the implementation stage, we'll see how we collaborate with OSP, IOCO, etc. Then we would, be able to get into retrieving the assets, because I mean, some of them they finish kind of dissipating, so you need a court of law to convict those persons, and then in the process, some of them can return. Okay, some of them can return them. So take an example. You see how? Okay, I'll just leave it because it's a pending matter. So let's give a hypothetical example. If let's say Minister X took our money, and then Minister X gave the money to his family members to attend school, and some family members also mismanaged some. So you see that the money is gone far. But if we put Minister X before the law court and we're able to prove that this money you gave to your family and those that your family members have mismanaged are government funds, then Minister X will be facing jail, a jail term. But if Mr. X wants to avoid the jail term, he can do plea bargaining, bring the properties back, etc. Right? So, but definitely there will be accountability. And when we say accountability, I know some people want only the jail term, but it's a broad spectrum, different things. Even talking here, I always mention the Sécret Dampare example. Even let's leave the Sécret Dampare example. Let's mention Akufo Addo's example. So forever, Akufo Addo and his family, it will be history that Akufo Addo tried to add $800 million, $800 million, almost $1 billion to the Ameri deal, and Ghanaians caught him. So his name is, destroyed forever. Here is a president who tried to do a deal behind Boakye Agyarko. You have your minister for energy. Then he's supposed to negotiate an Ameri deal. It gets to a point, then you see that, hey, this is an opportunity for me to steal money. So Akufo Addo takes him out of the leap, and between Akufo Addo and Gabby and the people out there, 800 million is added. Then we caught him. When we caught him, I was misled by Boakye Agyarko. Then he tried to sacrifice Boakye Agyarko.
But is there an issue that you take up as well?
That one, it depends on further information. The one I'm willing to do is the fumigation one, because Manasseh did a lot of investigation. The fumigation between Akufo Addo and Zoom Lion, that over 500 million they spent on the fumigation when it was unnecessary.
So you are going to take it up?
Oh, that one, it will go to OSP. Yes.
You are going to OSP?
Yes, corruption.
When will this be?
We are working on it. I've had some preliminary meetings just before, I think that was 29th or 30th of December. Preliminary meetings will be carried on. So the example we are giving is that, so though Akufo Addo has not been taken to court over the $800 million that he tried to steal in the Ameri deal, his name is gone forever, because who will understand this? Who will? Anytime that
he hasn't gone to court, why do you say he tried to steal?
But he admitted, he says he was misled. I told you that when you are going to court, you, as a prosecutor, you are allowed to say what you think.
That's why I'm asking the question, that if he hasn't gone to court yet, how do you say that?
Excellent. Let me repeat. When you are going to court, it's not when the judge
that he was misled.
Yes,
but
he admitted it.
No.
And also number two,
misled doesn't necessarily mean that he attempted to steal.
Look,
I just
and don't worry. Let's repeat.
So you're saying that because you say you are going to take up other matters in court to deal with it. I'm only saying that if you are saying that yes, he was misled, and the fact that so. Yes.
Boakye Agyarko says no, he's not the one. He didn't mislead her. It was deliberate.
Precisely.
Boakye Agyarko is alive.
You earlier indicated that some of the matters will have to go to court. If the matter hasn't gone to court yet, how do you then say that he tried to steal That's what I'm asking.
Okay, so let me repeat, please. All the matters, Did you say honorable?
No, gentlemen, let's keep focused. I asked the question.
So I'm saying that, listen, in matters like this, when you have analyzed the facts and then you think that it is stealing, you are allowed. In my opinion, I say it was an attempt to steal. And I told you that even when the case is going to court, the prosecutor writes the charge sheet, they charge you for stealing. So all the people before court, they've been charged. The offenses, you have the various names. They'll say stealing, even when the judge has not yet pronounced. That is our law. So you're allowed to accuse. So that if at the end of the day, it turns out that you had no basis, apart from losing the case, that's why our law allows that you, the prosecutor, etc., you can also be taken on for malicious prosecution. I see. So that's a remedy. So it's not as if it's just a carte blanche that you can just see Paul Graves and just slap any charges on him. No, yes, there is a counter law that if you abuse the law, where it is clear that there is nothing on the CMC and you just add him, like the way Godfred Dame added ACP Agojo and Colonel Gamele to the coup d'etat case. To flavor it. Exactly. And Godfred Dame opened his mouth and told me that, oh, Martin, I just added Agojo to make the case strong. And Agojo was standing right behind me and he heard it with his own ears. So that's how come in a case like that, we can do malicious prosecution. Yes, so please, when we sit here, I'm a lawyer. I beg you. I know that if I'm not careful tomorrow, I could also be at the receiving end. So I'm very careful. This 800 million I mentioned, I beg viewers. Akufo Addo came and admitted. And then he sought to say that it was Boakye Agyarko who deceived him. And Boakye Agyarko says, no, you took me out. It was between you and Gabby. What have I defamed Akufo Addo? I've not gone beyond that. I'm a lawyer. And you think if I was just in the, not wet my sword, you think I would have reached here? At least go to the bar. You will see cases I've done. They've helped Ghana a lot. You see, I hardly talk about myself, but when maybe in occasion like this, maybe I have to remind you. There were things people older lawyers came and went. I remember table number one. Let me mention something. Let me mention something. In table number one, but they've been wrote in the judgment that this lawyer, people have come and gone. People of great repute, they came and went. They never saw this thing, and he took this young man. Come on, I've also done my bit. So we are helping a democracy. I'm not interested in defaming anybody. That's how come Akufo Addo hasn't done anything to me. In fact, all the things I do, that's why he couldn't have sent national security after me. No, but he knows I speak the truth. So there's nothing that can be done to me.
Everybody, I think those of us sitting in the studio and everybody listening to the discussion this morning can make sense of where the issues are, and even if we haven't gotten into the real details of it yet, where the processes are taking us. First of all, having seen what is before us now, I would say that it was a very good thing that President Mahama, and at the NDC, I'm told it was part of your manifesto, right?
Yes.
So it is a very good thing. Because why? The fact that there is a great deal of public interest, one, and two, public concern about perceived or real improper acquisition of state properties by certain interests, individual, basically private. That concern is all over the place. We know it. We have had all the institutions that the MPP is talking about. Who has even raised these issues? Some of the issues that we are hearing right now, I doubt whether if oral did not exist, whether we would ever have gotten to even know about them.
Absolutely.
There are people who have been battling their cases in court. And it is quite clear that when you go to court against somebody who is fighting you over your property, has political backing, you are up against a very strong wall. And it seems like the evidence that is coming up would suggest that a lot of the people who have had advantage of some of the state properties we are talking about either appear to or indeed do have real political backing from the states and state actors. So I listened to the legal issues that MPP raised, and then I listened to Lawyer Akufo, who is himself a lawyer and a member of Oral, and then Lawyer Afenyo Markins here. And it is quite clear to me that the NPP's initial argument hasn't even got two legs to stand on.
Hasn't got two legs?
It doesn't have two legs to stand on. I mean, they are question of legality. I'm not a lawyer, but I can reason. You know, I've listened to details of the Whistleblowers Act. I've listened to provisions of the national constitution that actually enjoins citizens to feel or be obligated to provide information for the protection of state property.
Yeah.
Even without oral.
Thank you.
I mean, without a committee instituted by president-elect or sworn-in president or whatever it is. I'm looking at some of these issues and I'm asking, so what is MPP really complaining about? Is it their concern that indeed public property is being misappropriated, or that they have a vested interest in some of the issues that we're looking at? I mean, when you come across a certain way, if you don't take care, people will question your sincerity.
Well, they say they are not against accountability.
Yeah, so that is why I'm saying that if they had taken their time to look at some of the basic laws,
Yes.
whistleblowers, Lawyer Afenyo Markins has read
The Constitution.
portions of Article 142 of the Constitution. It is not difficult to understand. You don't need to be a lawyer to understand the provisions of these laws. And a lot of the people who are making this case for MPP are very educated people. Some are even lawyers. They put aside all of these legal basis and just jump to do mere political propagandizing. Because now the facts are emerging that indeed citizens, ordinary citizens, even have a duty. And a person is elected as president. We are in a transition process. Everybody recognizes the authority of that president already. The mandate that the people gave this president additionally was even so overwhelming. So can we say that the things that were taking place within the transitional period, because the president hasn't taken over, so we will not recognize them?
It's actually covered by the transitional
provision. Exactly. So some of these things, if you want to make a case, I think that the MPP in opposition now should rather take their time. They shouldn't rush to kick at anything that flies around. Otherwise, they will be making more mistakes. Because I listened to all of the arguments that are being made for 1 district, 1 factory, was there a law? Or 1 agenda, 1 was there a law? And these were all legitimate. Would you say that because there were no laws, then they were improper? No. So I think that we need to applaud President Mahama and his committee. Just that, I would also say, we heard stories about party foot soldiers also rampaging certain public properties, especially.
They were called to order.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and they have stopped since.
And also, I was just wondering, sometimes you want to find out from oral whether those people appear to be linked to them or they were operating.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. So Martin, some people tended to feel that those groups were feeling emboldened remotely or indirectly by oral. And that now that the president himself has given instructions for a committee to go into this, we will also help. We are party people, we're also interested. And then, so I don't know whether oral has the power or the capacity to be able to call such people in order. But I'm
the
sure it is
president
the party
himself has called them to order. And they've stopped since about 2-3 weeks
because
ago.
that was a big minus.
Yeah, there was never any such incident after about the 3rd of January.
Right.
Yes.
So that is important. But otherwise, I am saying that because the evidence that is coming will show that a lot of the people who have benefited from such disposition or disposal of public property seem to have political backing, it has to take some action like what President Mahama has taken to be able to deal with like oral. Because you see, all of these things are happening. Even the police, I know, have property fraud. You might take your case to property fraud and it might not go anywhere. You go to the court. As I told you, there is a lot of political influencing now. People feel there's a perception that a lot of the courts now appear to be influenced by political power. So when people show up, I may not say that it has been peculiar only to the last regime, but the concern is that it's gotten to a certain magnitude. So when you look at those things and you look at the rate at which public properties have been disposed of within the last 8 years, you compare to previous times, it tends to send the signal that, look, the state is on sale. So I think the MPP should take their time.
On sale to the lowest bidders.
Not even to the highest bidder.
No.
You know, those for me are the real issues. Now, when in this particular case that Lawyer Kweku referred to, when a state agency such as the Land Commission has moved in a particular case to admit that they probably would have made a mistake and would have sent a correction, and over and above that correction, a family's property is still demolished because people feel powerful. That is where I would say that it is very important that irrespective of CID, irrespective of the police, property fraud, Yoko, if the president thinks that it is useful to have a committee such as the oral, I think the president should go right ahead. Of course, once the committee agrees that they don't have powers beyond a certain limit, then the president will have to look at ensuring that this doesn't just become beautiful political drama.
I agree.
Where a lot of noise and a lot of euphoria is created, and a lot of propaganda is created, and then after 6 months, after 1 year, people also find new contacts and new connections. I can bet you the people who have been operating with the old regime, they will also find ways of connecting to the new regime. Yeah. Business people are like that. All of us are like that.
And polluters.
And then mess up this whole thing. So we would have come up with a lot of information. Everybody has great expectations. Yeah. People are looking for justice. And then as the dust settles and as the heat cools off, we don't hear anything about all of these matters again. So I am happy, Lawyer Kweku, that this initiative is moving ahead. After this initial information and the evidence that is being brought up, and the fact that even in some of them, there seems to be some real prima facie substance. Mm-hmm. There seems to be some fact to it. After that, what next? We, as citizens, will want to see that President Mahama took over. President Mahama launched oral. And at the end of the day, oral managed to recover X percentage of all the loot that we were hearing about. Now, the other thing that
X amount of money.
X amount of money, landed and non, yes. One of the things that I really want to appreciate about oral is that before oral, a lot of it might be speculation. People suspect, names will be dropped, suspicions, and so on. Now, this process, I believe, is helping us to get real information.
Hard documents.
Hard documents.
Hard evidence.
So that when somebody's name is mentioned, or some incident is raised, it is not left to suspicion or gossip. It is not left to speculation.
It's not fabrication.
It is not fabrication. It is something that whoever is charged also has a right to also go to court to defend themselves. In fact, I have rightfully acquired this property. I'm being accused of having acquired it wrongly.
It's not so.
You also have a right to go to court. So I don't think the responsibility lies only on the side of government or the committee that the government has put in place. If anybody also feels that Oral is mistreating them, that Oral's work is infringing on their liberties and rights, and they have evidence to show that they have not committed any error or crime or offense, I don't think that they are precluded from also seeking redress before the law court. So, but I think this initiative, the effort by the MPP and others to try and bastardize it must stop. The MPP in opposition should look for something more productive, more beneficial to do, which Ghanaians will sit back and say, well, MPP was in opposition, in government, we are not happy with them, but at least in opposition, they are doing ABC, which is positive, you know, and that can also contribute to the whole process of our democratic development. So I think so far, I am not impressed with the reaction and the opposition that the MPP has raised as far as Oral is concerned. I'm not impressed.
Well, you were much more involved in the Kufuor administration.
Yes.
You established the Office of Accountability.
Yes.
The function of that office, does it in any way have similarities with the Oral in its setup and function?
I really don't think so, because you see, the Office of Accountability under the President Kufuor government tended to focus more on the accountability of public officers. In fact, I think that was the time that the demand, even though the law was there, the demand for public officials,
and public sector reform,
yes,
introduce public sector reform.
to give an audit of their properties and what they would have acquired became very prominent.
Yo, waiting for winning and someone abeto yepuno so Mikao say so when you subscribe to channel idea Bomodia say over subscribe. Now feel so well like video and give us a thumbs up now fee share my offer for us now when you be here now and somewhere koso ewo Ghana memo hanum. Also betimi otchere wadwen afa eye some way nyina ho ewo comment box ni mu mobeti minkabium in my next video.
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.